Hey everyone, welcome back to Taproot TV. I'm Benna Hughes and I'm here today with Ken Reed. Hey Ken.
Hey, how's it going, Benna?
Going great.
Excellent.
You know, faster is great, isn't it?
Faster's better, right?
No, I don't know.
Sometimes.
Is it? Faster can be convenient.
It can be.
But it also can lead to things lasting longer down the road.
Right.
And having to redo things.
Right, over and over.
Yep. Do it right first, right?
Right.
So we're going to talk to you today about fast root cause analysis, and is that a good thing?
Right. And on first glance, it seems like it, right? And this is based on a blog entry, right? That we had
from Mark Carr wrote.
Right. And fast can be good. I mean, you don't want investigations taking weeks or anything like that. So you want to be efficient and as quickly as possible, get answers out there and get corrective actions in place.
Absolutely.
So I'm all behind that. And the problem is that there's some disadvantages with going too fast.
Yeah, and there's three things we're going to talk about today that are very common.
Right.
And they have their place. Most things have their place in this world, but they can be expanded upon and made better.
That's right.
So we're going to talk about brainstorming, about FiveWhys, and about Fishbone Diagram.
That's right. We're going to hit those three up.
Yeah, so brainstorming.
Brainstorming.
Always a great idea.
You know, we do that in conferences and meetings all the time where we just kind of go around the table and say, hey, who's got some great ideas? Everybody give me one great idea. And you go around the room and everybody just throws out a great idea. And
and if you can go multiple times. People may think of something after they've heard somebody else say something.
It's meant to be a creative process where you make up new ideas.
It's very good for that.
Right? It's really good for that. As a root cause analysis process, though, it's not quite designed for that. It's brainstorming is designed to be creative, think of new ideas and new things. For root cause analysis, you just want facts. And brainstorming isn't necessarily the best way to pull out all the facts in a problem.
Right. You're going to kind of limit yourself based on what expertise certain people have. That's the things they're going to see.
That's right. If I have a bunch of training people around the table, they're going to come up with a bunch of training problems and ideas. So,
I mean, it's a structured way to do things.
It is.
But it is not a guided way to do things, so there's the potential to leave some things out.
It is. And you should expect that kind of a process is going to be really quick, but it's going to be very, very incomplete. Yeah.
But, hey, you know what? There's occasionally when it might work.
Right. But probably when you're not as concerned about the actual results being exactly correct. Yeah.
Exactly. FiveWhys.
FiveWhys. Now, this is kind of a step up from brainstorming. It's a little more structured than brainstorming is, although it kind of has the same basis. It's a creative process again. You start out by giving a problem statement, and then start from there. Here's our problem, and then you just ask, well, why did that happen? And then the answer to that is, why did that happen? And you keep working your way down. So it's somewhat structured, more than just brainstorming, but it has pretty much the same problems. You're still depending on the expertise around the table to figure out what questions to ask, what things we know. Again, if I have a bunch of training guys sitting around the table, the answer almost always seems to come out, well, we had a training problem. Let's train everybody again. And that's because that's based on the expertise of the people around the table again.
Well, and you're limited. You're relatively limited.
Right, you really are. You're limited by who's around the table, what questions you're going to ask. And it also, once you get into FiveWhys, it's also very limited in the answers you're going to get. And what I mean by that is, when I have a single problem, you end up with a single root cause, what they call a root cause. There could be multiple root causes, but you never went down other paths.
You didn't go down those other paths.
Right.
Barb put a good example in here, I think. I'll read it really quick. The company vehicle will not start. Why? The battery's dead. Why? The alternator does not function. Why? The alternator belt had broken. Why? The alternator belt was well beyond its useful service life and not replaced. And then the last why was the company vehicle was not maintained according to policy. Why was that? And so you're done.
You're done. We found the problem is it just wasn't maintained. And really all we ended up there was a great way to blame somebody.
Right. So here's
point the finger at the mechanic.
Some things to look at. Have you looked at the company policy and does it need improvement?
Right.
That's a really good.
Maybe we followed the company policy and it said to replace the belt every 6 years, and we really need to replace it every 3 years.
Right. Is it compliant with the maintenance schedule being enforced?
That's right.
And does the person responsible for maintaining the vehicles know that he or she is accountable for maintaining?
Right. We still have, even if you follow the policy, we still have no idea why he or she didn't follow the policy. So we don't know.
Doesn't really dig deep enough.
Doesn't get in there. It stops at what we would consider to be the causal factor level. That's where that ends up.
And a root cause is what?
It's the reason we have the causal factors there. So this stops at almost the very first step in the Taproot process, which is human performance.
Right.
Well, no kidding. I'm pretty sure somebody
and
made
you
a
see
mistake.
in those other things that absence of the best practice or the failure, it's not in there.
It's not there. None of the good
until you
stuff
kind of
that we
got down a
expect to
little
see.
deeper.
That's right.
So
That's right.
I think she did a really good example on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just simple. It's dangerously simple. So we're going to put a link to her blog article in the comments so you can go to that.
Fishbone diagrams.
Combo?
Yep. Ishikawa diagrams. These are taken from the Toyota production system kind of things, is where these kind of get started. And these are yet one more step in the structured direction. It basically starts with a problem statement, and then you kind of brainstorm possible reasons that problem occurred. And then you put I don't want to say corrective actions necessarily, but you put mitigations and things in place for each of those possible problems. The problem comes up is, why am I doing all this work for possible problems?
Right.
Shouldn't we maybe go investigate to see if they are problems
instead
of just putting some structured way of brainstorming is really what this ends up.
Yeah, and where's the guidance to get that information?
You're at the same place you were with the FiveWhys and the brainstorming. It's based on who's sitting around the table. That's your guidance.
Right.
And it's not, while I'm not trying to put down people,
sure.
We're people and we're not going to think of everything. So it doesn't make you think outside of your knowledge level, what you already know.
And that is one of the things that's really fantastic about Taproot.
It does.
First, you can think outside your expert level because it's doing the thinking for you.
It does. It's exactly right. It's forcing you to ask those questions that you never would have asked on a brainstorming or a FiveWhy or an Ishikawa diagram. It just never gets there. Taproot, the structure of it and the questions that it asks, it forces you to go look at that stuff. It's really cool.
Well, and it's once you get through that, you're done. You're at your root causes.
You're right. You can be confident that the root causes you found are the right ones, and maybe you found multiple ones. Which, by the way, the brainstorming and the FiveWhys will never get you to multiple root causes. So.
And then we help you with corrective actions.
Right. Again,
the resources.
These systems again leave you at the point where, well, I found some kind of a problem. How are you going to fix it? And of course, procedures, training, and discipline that's where everybody seems to always
So you start
go.
Brainstorming corrective actions.
Yeah, now you're in brainstorming again. Yeah, you never get out of the brainstorming mode, right?
I really like having those expert resources to go to because then, you are being guided in the right direction and by the right research.
Absolutely, yeah. The corrective action helper is something sometimes we don't talk about enough, but that's a really important piece that really is giving you the opportunity to think outside of those normal corrective actions that you've tried 100 times and still don't work. It's time to think of something different.
Exactly.
It gives you some guidance there. Yeah.
I think it's the best.
It is.
I do. We just came from our global summit last week, and we had a lot of people in our 2-day course and a lot of people in our advanced 2-day pre-summit courses and stuff, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was out in Horseshoe Bay in outside of Austin, Texas, and weather was beautiful. We had some great speakers. Students all were able to network together and talk amongst themselves. It was a very almost, I'll use the word intimate. It was kind of an intimate setting there. It's very nice. So.
It was one of our favorites for a reason, but and then just the clients themselves.
Yeah,
so.
It was really
and those are people who are coming in and using Taproot.
They're the ones that are using it. Yes, they're the ones that come back and recognize the strengths of the system.
And how many great best practices were shared? It was just unbelievable.
I would say 3/4 of our summit is best practices.
It is.
Shared by the users.
By our clients out
By
there
our
using
customers.
Taproot, so they're the ones out there in the field doing it, and
They
they
bring
come
that
back into our summit, and it's like the wealth of knowledge is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool. Yeah.
So we got a new one set up coming up for June 2021.
June in 2021. So we're looking forward. So be thinking about Summit in June
Yes.
2021. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be here in Knoxville, Tennessee. At our
We're so excited about that.
It is back in
Everybody
our
had a
hometown.
great time last time, and they
Yeah.
were excited when they heard
I
Knoxville
know.
again.
Everybody was like, "Yay, back in Knoxville!"
Yeah, so and it'll be in summer, so it'll be beautiful.
Yep.
So well, hopefully it'll be beautiful.
She said.
I said it would be beautiful.
So we're going to have to hold her to that.
In the meantime, if you are wanting to do Taproot training to learn how to dig deeper into your investigations, go to our website and you will see all of our courses we're having public courses around the world, or we can come on site and do them for you, which is our favorite method.
It is.
Because we get to know you and can focus directly on you. So our website is taproot.com. Go there, and if you're not signed up for our newsletter, sign up for the newsletter there, because you will get a wonderful... The resources right on that newsletter are just laid out so nicely.
They are.
You know exactly what's going on. You get links to these videos. You can go listen to these things on our podcast. Go see our other social media.
Yep.
Like them all, because you're going to not miss a lot of great information. And some of the information we're going to do has come out from the summit.
Right.
So
right.
that'll be good stuff to keep
Yeah, you
up
definitely
with.
want to be watching the next few weeks here, as we're taking some of that summit information that we learned,
Yep.
and we're gonna put that out to everybody here. So.
Yeah, but great.
Awesome.
Thank you for explaining those.
Yeah,
Fast is not always better.
fast isn't always better, so we'll.
Sometimes it's just fast until you have to do it again.
Yep, that slows your way
Then
down.
it slows you really way down. Well, thank you for joining us. Please like, subscribe, and hit notification bells to get more of these videos. And we will see you back here next week. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.